This is Rover Red. Welcome to the Otherwhere. If you would like to help Rover Red survive her perilous journey, please go to roverredpodcast.com/vote. You could submit your suggestions, vote on what Rover Red does next, or join the Rover Council. The Rover Council is free to join, and they receive access to 3 unpublished prequel episodes of Rover Red, as well as special polls hidden on secret, password-protected pages. They act as Rover Red's collective unconscious. Rover Red is completely reader-guided, so make your decisions carefully. Leah stared into the glass case, watching as Bird cooed at the plants within. The flowers in the case closest to Bird opened their black petals, revealing a scarlet interior and swaying slowly as though they were touched by a soft breeze. Evie, what are those? I am unsure. Has the Rover Council made their decision? You have received 2 messages from the Rover Council. Would you like for me to read them? Wait, messages? Not a Rover Council decision? No, there has been no decision as of yet. Silt. Go ahead and read the messages. Maybe they'll have something helpful. Leah, please be very careful. We've seen flowers like this before. If they're indeed the same, they're very dangerous. They behave like silt and can be hurt by water. Maybe Evie has more information on them? We're still deliberating as I write this, but we thought you should be aware, regardless of what we decide. Paris. Well, at least they're deliberating. Thanks for warning me about the flowers, Paris. Read the next message, Evie. Leah, a number of us on the council are really worried about what the flowers might be. We think they could be very dangerous. Be careful and stay on your guard, and try to get Bird on your side if you can. Try showing an interest in his greenhouse and suggest you might be able to help him add to his collection. That way you'll be more valuable to him alive. Best of luck, Leah. Stay safe. Ed. Thanks, Ed. But I don't know where to get flowers in the Otherwhere. I guess I can try to lie to Bird? Leah, Bird is approaching. Still no decision. Okay, I guess it's time to choose then. Leah turned around to face Bird, who stood before her with a patient look on his face. Have you decided? Not yet. I was wondering if you could show me your greenhouse before I decide? Bird smirked. I think we'll hold off on concerning ourselves with the tour of my greenhouse until after you perform. What if I could help you add to your collection? I am a rover after all, and we are the best at roving the land, so if you sent me out into the Otherwhere, I could bring you back a nice plant? A nice plant. Bird rubbed his chin as though he were considering it before shaking his head at her in disgust. Is that what you think I collect here? Plants? I did? Why, oh why, is it so hard to find anyone with the tiniest amount of culture? Bird asked. I am unsure. I can't believe I just said— I think that's enough talking from you, Bird interrupted. Choose, now! Okay. If the flowers are dangerous, then I probably don't want to choose wrestling or dancing with them. The only other option is walking the tightrope, but Ambrose apparently didn't do too well at that. I'll walk the tightrope? Wonderful, Bird said in a breathless whisper. Let's get you ready for the stage. Leah nodded and followed Bird up the staircase to the right. At the top, there was a door that opened on a small room filled with mirrors and light. Bird began searching the tables for something, scattering tools and feathers and all sorts of other things onto the floor. He finally found what he was looking for and handed it over to Leah. A glove? Bird nodded. For the hand? Obviously. Obviously. Leah carefully pulled the glove on. There, Bird said, nodding. That looks so much better. Bird grabbed Leah's wrist and escorted her down the stairs. He rounded the corner in the lobby and entered the darkened games parlor. Dim light shone down from the walls, but did not illuminate much of anything. Leah could make out figures sitting in seats that all faced the stage, but couldn't see any of their faces. She could hear their whispers, though. The whispering grew louder as Bird escorted her to the stage.
Why is it so dark?
My customers prefer the darkness, but don't worry, the stage will be lit so my guests can watch you walk the tightrope.
Customers? People pay you?
Not in the way you're meaning. We exchange things as you and I have. I provided you with security from the silt, and in exchange you will be providing me with entertainment for my guests.
That doesn't really make sense to me.
It doesn't have to. Bird brought Leah up onto the stage. In the dim light, she could make out a tightrope that extended from one side of the stage to the other. It was only 2 feet off the ground, and to either side of the rope were clear panels. There was also a staircase at one end with a door, as well as a clear ceiling that went across the entire enclosure.
What are the walls and ceiling for?
So you can stay on the tightrope longer. You can use them for balance. Just reach your hands out to steady yourself if you feel as though you're about to fall.
Oh, that's helpful.
The first couple people we sent through fell too quickly, so we had to innovate.
It's only a couple feet off the ground, though.
Bird didn't respond to this, choosing instead to simply smile as he held the door open for Leah to enter the clear enclosure.
Okay. All I have to do is walk up those stairs and then walk across the rope to the other side. Right?
Correct. Just wait for the spotlights to come on and then walk across. Simple.
Right. Let's do this.
The Rover Council has made their decision. Would you like to hear?
Kinda late, but sure.
The Rover Council has decided that you should compliment Bird's wig and make friends with him.
Compliment Bird's wig and make friends with him? Do they think my life is a game?
I am unsure. What did you say about my wig? Bird asked, leaning in.
I like the flowers you've chosen. They really complement your eyes and your outfit.
Bird's cheeks filled with color. You really think so?
I do.
No one's ever noticed. I put so much time and effort into my daily outfits and no one, I mean no one, ever notices. Do they not understand how hard it is to find the flowers to match every outfit? Bird's eyes filled with tears, but they didn't spill over.
I bet it's really hard. Flowers are hard to come by in the other wear.
Bird nodded emphatically, blinking away his tears. That's so right. No one understands how difficult it is to find any sort of decorative plant life, much less the rare species I have in my collection.
I completely understand. I don't know what I'm doing out here, and everyone seems to be trying to kill me. For what? Living? Trying to find my brother?
Let's have someone else walk the tightrope, Bird said. You and I can enjoy a spot of tea while we watch someone else do it.
And you'll still allow me to spend the day here?
Of course. I'll even show you my greenhouse.
I think I would like that. I've never seen a greenhouse.
Well, we'll change that after the performance. You can head back into the lobby and take the other set of stairs to the balcony where my guests are sitting. Bird gestured vaguely to some place in the darkness above the audience. You'll find a table there with a flower in a vase. Take a seat, and I'll join you shortly. Leah nodded, moving away from the stage and towards the lobby, trying to ignore the whispers of the audience as she moved. Hello, loyal listener. Do you know where Harrow is? What about Lieutenant Slade? If you were a patron, you would. You would also know that the prophecy... If you would like to be on the inside of events, rather than on the outside, visit roverredpodcast.com/support. There, you'll find premium, full-length episodes that take place in the province of Death. You'll also find exclusive t-shirts, mugs, and totes that you can't find in our shop, as well as maps and scripts. Become a patron and protect Leah. Let Leah say goodbye. Leah hurried through the lobby, passing the glass case, but returning to peer into it. There was a whole assortment of flowers and plant life inside of the case. Most of the pots contained dusky-looking flowers that opened their petals wide as Leah leaned closer to the glass.
Evie, do you know what these are?
Plants. Flowers. Outside of that, I am unsure.
What about that one?
Leah pressed her finger against the glass, pointing out a pot in the center of the glass case. Atop the soil was a mass of black and white tubular roots that spilled over the sides of the pot. That appears to be some sort of root system, Leah.
Weird.
Leah turned away from the glass case and the strange moving flowers within it. She headed up the stairs. The balcony contained several people who seemed to be there separately as they had left several seats between each other. At the edge of the balcony was a table with a flower in a vase. Leah took a deep breath and headed there, pulling out a chair and taking a seat. On the table were 2 glasses of what looked like water, and Leah reached her hand out for one. Leah, I would wait until you get Bird's permission to drink that before you go and do so on your own. He seems to be taken with you, so I would ride that out as long as you possibly can.
That's a good point.
You just received a broadcast message sent from the Rover Fortress.
From Lieutenant Slade?
Not quite.
What does that mean?
Would you like me to read the message?
Yes.
Lieutenant Slade, it has come to our attention that you have left your post and are in the field. More specifically, that you are in the province of Death. It is with great sorrow and a heavy heart that I, Braddock the Pope, declare you Rover Red from this moment until eternity. Best of luck, Rover Red.
No.
Leah, I thought this news would bring you joy.
No, Evie. He's in death right now helping me. Or at least he was supposed to be. How am I supposed to find the prophecy shards if he's been declared Rover Red?
You will have to do so on your own.
Yeah, that's the problem. I have too much going on. I may not like him. Silt, I may not even trust him. But I need him.
I think we disagree on that.
How else am I supposed to get all of the prophecy shards without another person helping me?
If you completed the Imperium, you would have the whole of the otherware at your disposal.
That's a big if.
Yes, it is. But it's still the best chance you have at getting all of the prophecy shards.
Great. Do you know who Braddock the Pope is?
I do not. As Leah tried to relax, she glanced over the edge of the balcony and saw that Bird had left the stage. She turned back to face those sitting in the balcony with her, trying to see their faces. All eyes were focused on the stage, save for one pair. This pair belonged to a man who sat in the back, right next to the door she'd come through when she first walked onto the balcony. The man was staring at the catwalk above the stage. Several people sat there, looking down at the glass enclosure where Leah could now see an older man walking up the stairs in preparation to walk across the tightrope.
What is going on here?
I am unsure.
Read it, Evie.
Leah, Lieutenant Slade has passed a message to the Rover Council that he wished us to pass on to you. Although, based on his previous track record, I hesitate to forward anything from Lieutenant Slade. I feel that this message is of utmost importance to your mission. He has found the Death Prophecy Shard. With his portion of the prophecy, it should read, a brother and sister, both speakers of natural and unnatural origin, will come together to find that their paths must diverge in order to return united, for whosoever possesses the key must. Good luck, Rover. Team Elder is here for you.
Evie, the prophecy shard is talking about us. About Jonah and me. Our paths diverged. The prophecy is saying we'll both return united. I wonder what key the prophecy is referring to. Search the Book of Rover for any mention of this key.
There was no mention found in the Book of Rover of a key in relation to the prophecy.
I guess there wouldn't be, though, right? The Book of Rover has no reference to this part of the prophecy.
Correct.
Hold on. I have a question.
I possibly even have the answer.
If a rover in the field found one of the prophecy shards and was wearing an Eevee device, would you have some record of it?
I would not, but the central hub would.
So what you're saying is that the central hub, whatever that is, would have record of any prophecy shards ever reported?
So long as those rovers were implanted with Eevee devices, yes.
Where's the central hub?
All that is known is that the central hub is located at the Rover Fortress in the Greater Conquest Empire.
So where in the Greater Conquest Empire is the Rover Fortress?
I am unsure. Lieutenant Slade would know, though.
Yeah, but Lieutenant Slade is in death.
Correct.
And he's Rover Red, so finding him would be hard. Great.
Bird appeared and moved toward Leah, carrying a tray with 2 teacups perched upon it. He placed a cup in front of Leah and then a cup in front of his own chair before taking a seat. Are you ready for the show? Bird asked.
Yeah, I am. I'm very excited.
Bird smiled. I'm glad. I think you'll enjoy this. Even more now that you're up here instead of inside.
I'm sure that I will.
Leah, we still have not seen Amberest.
Bird?
Bird finished his sip of tea and nodded for Leah to continue.
Is Amberest watching the show?
No, I'm afraid she's under right now, Bird said pleasantly. She'll probably be up and around tomorrow.
I don't follow.
She fell from the tightrope.
You said she's under. What's she under?
Bird laughed. You're funny. She's asleep. Unconscious. Under?
From falling off the tightrope?
Bird leaned across the table as if to whisper a secret to her. It's not the fall. It's the impact.
I don't understand. The rope is only a foot or so above the stage.
Bird nodded as though he completely understood where Leah was coming from. You didn't walk up those stairs, though. Directly below the tightrope is a hollow that's probably, I'd say a couple feet deep.
I guess I'm still not understanding. That's still only a few feet total, right? Even with the hollowed out section.
It's even less. The flowers take up a good bit of space in the hollow. Leah quit breathing for a moment as she realized how close she'd been to having to walk on a rope above those strange, moving plants. She wasn't sure what it was about them that unnerved her, but something about the plants in the lobby seemed aggressive and threatening.
Amberest fell into the flowers?
Unfortunately, yes. She almost made it all the way to the other side, too.
Is she still in the hollow now?
No. Bird frowned over his teacup at her. You can't leave a body with the flowers. If they have something to crawl into, they'll start molting.
Molting? What's that?
That is something you don't want to mess with. Bird sat his teacup down. Anyways, enough talk about Amberest and the rest of my customers. If you want to see them, you can look down at the floor seats. Amberest is staged right in the front row. Bird tapped his chin and the stage lit up. So bright was the stage that Leah could see the front few rows of the games parlor. What she saw there made her heart start beating harder.
Oh, Selt.
All the seats were filled with people, but none of them moved. The people were covered with those dusky black flowers, and as Leah watched, they all opened in a blooming wave that swept from one side to the other, facing the light. The whispering she heard while on stage was not whispering at all, but the leaves of the flowers brushing against one another. Bird began to clap, as did several of the others sitting in the balcony. Leah followed suit, clapping her hands but not understanding why, until the old man began to move out onto the tightrope. Near the middle of the enclosure, Leah watched a narrow, black and white leg appear from the hollow below. She couldn't see what it was attached to, but the old man could, and turned to face the audience. He pounded against the clear panels before lifting his thumb into the air. Bird sighed.
What?
He's asking for mercy. Bird rolled his eyes and shook his head as though Leah would understand his frustration with such an action. But then Bird's eyes lit up. You know what? It's up to you.
Me?
Bird turned to the other guests assembled in the balcony. Ladies and gentlemen, we have a Rover among us, Rover Red to be exact. She has agreed to rule on this man's appeal to mercy. I will take all bets on her decision. Don't wait too long, though. Leah saw a leg appear from a second creature on the clear panel, followed by several more. The creature the striped legs belonged to scuttled up the panel. Its underside was bright yellow and covered in sharp, black fangs. You have a few moments to decide. Bird smiled down at her. But don't take too long. Bird began collecting bets from those who sat in the seats of the balcony.
Evie, send a message to the Rover Council. They saved me from having to walk across the tightrope. Maybe they can figure out a way to save that man. Ask them what I should do.
Done.
This was Rover Red. We'll see you here again in 2 weeks. Your suggestions and votes will determine Leah's future in the Otherwhere. That website, one last time, is roverredpodcast.com/vote. Vote wisely. Rover Red was produced by Bloodworth Creative, starring Madison Martin as Leah and written by Christopher Bloodworth. If you enjoyed Rover Red, please rate and especially review on Apple Podcasts, Stitcher, or wherever you found us. Reviews are important because they keep us on the charts where people can find our show. Rover Red is supported by you, our listeners. For more information, visit our website and click on Support Rover Red in the upper right-hand corner. We couldn't make Rover Red without you. Thank you so much for listening.